Legend tales of a place where the booze flows freely and the stories are always entertaining. If you are bold enough to seek out such a place, head 13 miles down the Tuscan Highway to a tiny blues joint known as the Townsmith Tavern. Once there, enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and Bowl.
Excuse me, you can't say that. You're gonna lose your family-friendly rating. You're gonna corrupt the kids.
BS! A podcast that invites you to grab a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. And here are your hosts, Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that recognizes that Star Trek Into Darkness is a far superior movie to Star Trek Wrath of Khan.
Listen here, you son of a bitch. I am not going to let this thing go off the rails 10 seconds in.
I don't watch Star Trek, so I don't have a kid in the place.
Interesting fact, today is the anniversary of Wrath of Khan being released. So it's funny that you bring that up because it's like you meant to say it, but I know that you didn't.
Anyway, I'm Howard Blues. That's Kidder.
Is it a bonus episode on the OnlyFans version?
No, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. That's the first number one thing that you got to learn.
Even if we put it on Twitch, people could subscribe with their Twitch Prime, but
we
that's
could.
Another option.
And
I only accept Bitcoin on mine.
Doge. The
Dogecoin.
So the interesting thing that you
what
bring
about
that
diarrhea coin?
easy. But the thing with Twitch, you bring that up. It happens that you can watch the KRD and Eyewitness Weather Now weather stream on Twitch and get the latest weather updates. So I mean, there's that. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
I'm glad I did.
You did, and we're an affiliate, so that means that you can join a legitimate channel and get the latest weather information. Man, speaking of that, it's hot as hell up there. And I made it out before because obviously I got a couple of good brothers down here. It's the brothers from Nebraska. There's brother Niko, and that's Rudeboy Kyle. And, of course, I am the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Kidder. So, Howie Blues, what are we drinking tonight? What do you have on your end?
So I am trying. It's another one of the experimental beers that I have up in the beer fridge, but this is a Lift Bridge Brewing Company Mango Blonde.
Ah, the mango.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It comes with the slogan, "Put your mango where your mouth is." And it is an ale brewed with mango and with natural flavor added. It's out of Minnesota, so
found in nature. Right, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Maybe you'd like to say that for the rest of the class.
Sounds delicious.
So
Yeah.
give us your thoughts, Jake.
Yeah, it's all right.
What's that can look like? What do you
Mango-y
got?
afterbirth. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a tiki. I gotcha. I can see why you had that picked out for you. So that's very good. Or did you pick that one out?
I forget who at this point.
Those good times when you're like, I'm sure somebody had the good intentions to give this to me or give this to myself. What does the color look like if you can show us if it was in a glass?
Well, it is a blonde, so it's a kind of a light color.
Okay.
I'm looking at what remnant that there is here on the top of the can, but yeah, it's a light color. So
Got a 6,000 white.
nah, not quite that bad, but
For the technical term, I mean, maybe more of a 3,500 K. I mean, we're running more into the yellow spectrum versus the pure white. Are you getting?
A warm
Are you
white.
getting the app out so then you can
Oh, I can adjust.
bring our light up?
I can adjust.
He's gonna help us look better. I don't know how. Maybe he's got some post processing, but it's getting a little bit brighter. I would say what is on tap tonight, but I only saw the bottle for a couple minutes. Brother Niko brought some delicious beverage this evening, so I'm passing the torch. What's on tap for us this evening?
Well, you are still on the Belvini 21
It's a 21-year whiskey?
Scotch.
Okay.
Whiskey, yeah.
Scotch.
Then me and Kyle have moved on to the Lagavulin 11 Nick Offerman edition, finished in Guinness casks. So
I'm
it's
just
also
enjoying
quite tasty.
I'm just enjoying this. It's a 21-year Scotch. This is so delicious with the peppery notes, the I don't know, caramely after a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of toffee
It's
caramel.
finished in port casks, so it has a little port flavor.
A little sweet. I do enjoy some port, so very good. So thank you, Brother Niko, for bringing that to the old Prada here down south this evening. And I mean, it's awesome because we can do this. And I mean, look who I found. This is great. So how about what's on TV? What's on Netflix? What's on Paramount Plus? What's on HBO Max? What's on the old television for you?
Well, the wife and I just finished The Queen's Gambit, which is on Netflix. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. And I know we're kind of late to the party on it, but, a very, very good limited series about a chess player, a female chess player, and kind of her rising through the ranks of the chess world while also battling drugs and alcohol. She's has a genius level IQ, and so did her mom. And her mom basically commits suicide in front of her. And it's then her kind of trying to, like, she gets dumped off in an orphanage. Janitor teaches her how to play chess, and it becomes kind of like the one thing she really gets a hold of and does well with. But at the same time, because this takes place in the 50s, 60s, back then, orphanages, it was actually fairly common for them to prescribe and, vitamins, but also tranquilizers. And so while she's at this orphanage, she gets addicted to tranquilizers. And it becomes kind of this running theme as she rises through the chess world, and she has several other kind of times where she's doing really well, times where she falls kind of off the wagon. It's really good. If I have one critique of it, it's got one of those endings where you're like, okay, so then what happens? Like it just ends, and you're just like, well, that was really, okay, but
Abrupt.
yeah, you kind of like, wait, what happens next? It's really good though. I highly recommend it. It's all of 8 parts, so it's about an 8-hour watch, but very good. The main actress in it, I think, was up for some awards this award season. Yeah, I highly recommend it. So good one if you haven't seen it.
Interesting. For me, it was NCIS New Orleans, the series finale, and again, to some degree, very disappointing because it was the series ending, so it was the last of the series. But then also, it wasn't really like a cut and dry, we're done with the series, thanks for watching, storyline. It was basically a short story of kind of wrapping it up, but we're just going to keep doing our thing. And if some other network picks us up, fantastic. Then we'll get picked up and continue the stories. So to some degree, I like that. To other degrees, I think that it was a pretty weak cop-out that they ended up just doing something like that, where It was super weak writing where the whole episode, the bug zapper is just getting work. But it was very much one of the things that was just there. It was there as a last episode, and I felt there should have been a little bit more pomp and circumstance, maybe even a 2-hour episode for it. Nope, 1 hour. See you later. Thanks for coming. Have a good one. So that was pretty much that. What are you guys watching since you guys are in the episode? The Good Brothers are here.
The wife and I have been watching The Handmaid's Tale. It's on Hulu.
Oh, the Hulu.
Hulu exclusives. And we kind of got back into it because we watched a few episodes. We jumped into the middle of it, and we stopped watching it. And then we saw that season 4 came out, and we're like, let's start it back at the beginning. So it's it's an interesting tale of what a dystopian society would be in the near future, if our current government wasn't able to sustain itself, and we went back to old traditions. It's got some scenes that aren't great for children, so be an adult if you watch it. Sometimes if you need to skip a scene, you can. Pretty easy to do, but you get the gist of how and why we value the rights, the freedoms, and the things we do every day. If we didn't have those, this show does a good opportunity of highlighting those. But it's a good watch. We enjoy it. It's very tough to put down because you always want to see what happens next. The main character is a female, and you're kind of following her story of the transition. And there's a lot of throwback or cut scenes to their previous life before this transition period, or very abrupt transition period, to going from the life that we are used to knowing right now as United States citizens to something that's very more restrictive. Very many people don't have the rights they do, men, women, children included, and it's something that it goes back to almost a medieval type of structure of society in the modern era. So it's interesting to see that being played out with current weaponry, current ultra omega conservative values, and you see people being exploited, manipulated, but the people that are in charge are also bending the rules to their own fit, to their own benefit, because they don't necessarily agree with the totalitarian structure. They will give some people favors, look the other way on some very restrictive ways of doing things. So it's interesting to see how people make the transition, including you eventually get to the backstory of a lot of the main characters and seeing how and why they did the things they did. But the story itself is it's always leaving you wanting to see, well, if I heard this person's story this episode, what am I going to see the next episode? Because sometimes they go very deep into one character story over the span of 3-4 episodes, But then they flip a switch, and you see, well, this is what another character saw at the beginning of this transition, or in the middle of this transition. So it's highly touted. Um, I enjoy watching it. It's a good watch. I would recommend it. Yeah, the Handmaid's Tale is it's something that there's there's a little something for everybody in that.
Something for everybody.
So I enjoy it, and we're still working through it, and they're in the middle of releasing season 4 right now, and I think they do one episode a week. It's not like one of those Netflix things where they release the entire season. You can binge watch it, but we decided to start at the beginning and eventually make it towards the end. But available on Hulu, and yeah, it's a good watch.
Brother Niko, what do you got?
Oh, well, like I mentioned last time, still going through King of the Hill. So
I
I only watch an episode or two a night, so it's going a while. Finished Arrested Development. So
Oh, it's a good one. That's one of my favorite shows.
I wasn't.
Arrested Development.
Yeah.
The-
I didn't care for when Netflix took it over, I'll be honest. I thought it dropped off.
Those
but-
those are a little different because I remember their first season when they tended to focus on one character per episode. The storyline it kind of jumped from it was very tough to follow. It was a very different feel from seasons 1 to 3, where Netflix picked it up in season 4.
Mhm. Well, now Netflix completely redid it where they tried to make it like the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So they no longer focus on it's more of a. But I still.
Well,
It was just bizarre.
season 5 that they kind of retooled season 4's progression into the traditional season 1 through 3, but it also gave me a better appreciation of what season 4 offered, because there was a different presentation style. They didn't necessarily do it maliciously, but I think the dedicated fans of the show and were more than grateful for Netflix picking it up into seasons 4 and 5. They initially, people said, well, you're not doing the show justice, and I think season 5 did a good job, and it also helped you wrap season 4 a little better than just a twist and say, here's your candy for this one character for the whole season type deal. So,
And then I did end up binging just the limited series Chernobyl from HBO that was released 2019, I think. So I thought it was very well done. Hard to probably separate the facts from the included drama in the series, but I thought it was very well done.
So it's Chernobyl, Russia, and
Yeah, Pripyat,
What's-
that whole area for the Chernobyl disaster. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. So I'd recommend it for anyone that's mildly interested in that sort of thing.
Sure. I got you. Fair enough. That's good.
good stuff.
Also, need to point out while we're talking about what we're watching is Brother Niko's Patches beard. This is a piece of glory right here. Look at this.
Thank you.
It's glorious.
Thank you.
First time in
Ever.
shit, we've known you forever. You got a damn beard. It's a piece of amazing work. And Brother Kyle here, he's going a little long on the tooth on the old goatee there too.
Working on it.
Aside from that, tonight we are of course dealing with and watching and excited for the Colorado Avalanche and the Las Vegas Golden Showers.
One of us is.
Simmer down now. Whose team's still in the playoffs?
Not mine.
That's right. That's what I thought. So we'll be checking that out as you got to see in the preview before the official start of the Triple B. Other than that, how about some video games? I haven't had any time to start any new games or try anything new. But since the last time we talked, what are you guys playing? You got a new game that you're rolling with?
Nothing new right now. I got the old steering wheel out and went back to Formula One 2020. Just cruising around the racetracks and been tinkering with Valheim, even though it hasn't had any updates. It's still early release, but it's a small game company that's working on an eventual progression towards maybe releasing more updates later this year into hopefully a full game next year.
And of course, if you're curious on what game that is, you can check our past episodes on the Triple B right here on your favorite podcast or video service.
Yeah, there's it's something that the video game market we're all eagerly awaiting any updates on Grand Theft Auto 6. There's rumors always dropping about where they might think the map might be based in, like Vice City. Or
there's been so many of them that are like, yep, we're gonna be, it's Vice City plus Los Santos and the not 80s theme, but you take Vice City and move it into today's world from those characters and see how they've developed. And I'm totally down with that. Loved Vice City and Los Santos and the large area of the map that it was, because at the time that was huge. San Andreas was large. So
it's I've read articles that the Rockstar has contracted companies to make a skinny down map of the entire United States. So if you have some ultra large map that scales the Rockies, the Southeast, the Northeast, the Southwest, it's a little bit of everything. But yeah, it's all hearsay at this moment, so it's tough to take any rumor article for any truth, because Rockstar themselves have been very secretive. So it's you wait, but it's something that I'm sure, since this has been the longest wait for the next GTA iteration, that the next one will have to be good. So,
Niko,
nothing new. Still eagerly awaiting the new Mario Golf game that's going to be coming out on
Mario
the Switch.
Golf, huh?
We got E3 coming up here I think it's this month. I know everyone's anticipating that Nintendo's going to announce a pro version of the Switch, so that'll be interesting.
Pro version?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, and also interesting to see what these other video game companies are doing with the chip shortage and everything. I know Sony's been saying they're going to try to retweak the PS5 to be able to produce more, but we'll see what's going on with that. But no, otherwise, nothing new for me.
So what's the difference between like the Switch now and then this Pro Switch? Just bigger battery? Maybe?
Probably higher processing. We don't know yet. They haven't announced it, but assuming full, probably 4K and processing power would be the big upgrade.
Fancy. Jacob, you playing anything
So
new?
me and the wife have been continuing our playthrough of Stardew Valley. Almost done with our first year in the game, so we just kind of keep trucking away at it. A couple nights every week, and we're getting there. So it's we're still having a lot of fun with it,
right?
What was that?
My question was, with the game, you've been there for a year, so you're pretty much established, and you're kind of like VIPs now, right?
Kind of. So, part of the overarching kind of quest is to complete the community center, and that requires you to collect different things. So we're about halfway through that. So we're kind of behind on the fishing. That's probably the biggest one that we're behind on.
Year 2 looks promising then.
Yeah, I think so. We kind of got a pretty good system down for for everything. So, you know, part of that is, you know, what's fun with playing it with multiplayer is you're able to kind of divide tasks. So, my wife does most of the animal care on our farm. I do a lot of the mining, fishing, and then during these seasons you can plant, I take care of the garden. So,
The hunter-gatherer scheme.
yeah,
It's like World
So-
of Warcraft all over again. You're out mining resources, and people come up and bother you.
not quite, but
Oh.
yeah.
What's this game again? Stardew Valley?
Yeah,
Maybe?
Stardew Valley. So yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit on a past show, but it's basically a farming RPG, and the whole premise is your grandpa has given you the deed to his farm, and there's just a lot of stuff you can do with it. You know, we haven't gotten very far at all into it. I mean, I know I say, hey, we're almost done with the first year, but there's a lot. We're not quite done with the community center. There's stuff where if you collect and catch all of the fish that are out there, all the different types, then it unlocks an island that you can travel to, and there's a whole bunch of stuff there. We got a long ways to go, but you know, for a game that you can just sit down and it's, for the most part, pretty chill, it's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun, and you can do a lot of things with it. So.
Is there something? Is it something where you do something online with the intent that there's progress being made offline when you're not logged in, or is it only when you're doing the game that there's progress being made?
It's only when you're doing the game. So,
Okay. Yeah.
So which is nice, because I've played a couple of those games where it's like, you know, based off a time clock, and it's like, oh, I got to wait 2 hours before I can do this.
Basically, whatever you put into it effort-wise is the result.
Mhm.
of what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of different things. You know, there are some people who play it and all they do is they go fishing, and they find a whole bit of fun with that. There's different mining things that you can do, which involves combat and trying to collect rare gems. There's a whole relationship aspect to the game that my wife and I really haven't touched, where you can make friends and even get married in the game. There are community bulletin boards where people place requests for items, so you can do that. I mean, it's one of those games where there's so much to do. You find it really hard to figure out how you're going to spend your time. So when the day starts, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to do this and this and this, and I got to go over and do this, and I should do this as well. And my gosh, I haven't checked my crab pot in 10 days. I should go do that. So a lot to do.
Towards the
It's going nuts.
the jack of all trades and the people that want to specialize in certain areas of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who play this game and they never do some aspects of it. So, but highly enjoyable. If you just want a game that you just sit back and relax, I mean, as I said, I haven't even gotten into everything. Like, there's a whole thing about cooking where you can collect ingredients and cook different dishes. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Sure.
And what makes this really impressive, you know, I talk about this. What really makes it impressive, if you know anything about the game, it was all programmed by one individual. So he did all the work on it. He did the programming, the art, the music.
Crazy.
It was one of those things. He'd work his day job, and then in the evenings he'd come home and do coding and all of that. So when you consider that this is one guy's efforts, and you just see how big of a game this is, it's impressive. It's phenomenal, but it's amazing. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it.
Is the environment procedurally generated on that, or is it everyone's experience is the same type of thing?
So there are, I'm trying to think of how many. There's like 6 or 7 different like starting farm layouts.
Okay.
So you can choose one of those, and those are different. Yeah, the general world map is the same, and then when you go into the mines, those are random.
Okay.
So every time you go into the mine, it's something different. If you've been on floor 24 once before, it's going to look different the next time you go through. So it's always different, and that can sometimes be a good thing and a bad thing. So
I guess the monsters you clear out don't stay cleared out.
no, they will until you leave the mine, and then they will come back. But it's still, as I said, it took us a long time. We just got to the bottom of the mine not that long ago, but it's like, oh my gosh, that was a lot. And that's just the first mine. There's also the skull mine in the desert. It's like, and that thing's limitless. But there's a challenge to try and get to floor 100. It's quite the challenge. So.
And you said you're at level what on the mine? So obviously out of 100.
So in the regular mine, we're at what is it, like floor 120? I think it goes down to 140, but they count the bottom at 120. So there's a quest to get to the bottom, and when you get to about, I think it's 120, they were like, okay, hey, you did it. But you can keep going down. So, but it's, as I said, it's a lot of fun, and the game has been out for a while, and it's a pretty cheap game. You can pick it up for, I think it's like $13. Yeah, I mean, just to give you an idea, we're almost through the first year, and my wife and I have over 20 hours into the game.
Okay.
So, and we haven't touched a large chunk of it. So just to give you an idea, I mean, for $13 to get 20 hours of game that you haven't even like scratched the surface of everything, it's just like, wow. So we'll be playing it for quite a while.
And you've had it for a year in terms of game time, not like calendar.
Right. It's in game time. So each season is 28 days.
Okay.
So you have 28 days to do it. And it gets, again, if you get into all the farming things, there are different crops that'll grow at a certain amount of time. So like cauliflower takes 14 days. So, man, you got to get that in the ground right away at the beginning of spring so that it's ready. And there's a whole economy to it. There's certain crops that are better. And then you can get into things like making stuff off the crops. So you can pickle things. You can make wine. Eventually, if you upgrade your house enough, you have a wine cellar. So you can age the wine so that it makes more money.
So if I were to download this game today, I would be able to join and learn and be part of possibly your community if we made that happen.
So you can play it multiplayer. It was originally came out as single player. You can now play multiplayer and have up to 4 people in your world.
Okay.
Essentially. So whenever I play, my wife and I, we play on the same system, and it's just split screen. But I mean, yes, you could play with up to 4 people and really divide the tasks and really do a lot of things too.
Is it 4 people concurrently at one time, or is it 4 people that are, like, say the 4 of us made a world and we wanted somebody else to join, we'd have to kick one of us to join somebody else? Or if you know what I'm asking.
Yeah, so one person is always the host. So like when my wife and I play, I'm the host. So I'm the main character. I have the main house. She got a little shack off to the side on my farm, which she hardly uses, and I just put random stuff in, because one of the other things you can do is collect artifacts and specimens for the museum. And as you do that, you get rewards, which tends to be a lot of decor. And so it's kind of fun to throw it in there, because every now and then the game makes her sleep in her shack. Yeah. And so she has a terrible time trying to get out the front door, because there's now so much stuff in the shack. So
I probably
yeah. But no, I mean, if the 4 of us wanted to play, one of us would be the host, and then the others are just kind of in the world with them, and they can still do things. They can still go on quests. They can still have their own quests, but then there are certain aspects of the game that really kind of only affect the host. So, like, for instance, fairly early in the game, you get a pet. Okay. And when that happens, it only happens for the host. So I got a dog. My wife did not get a dog. There's some of those, just those little things, but
sure.
otherwise, there's a few things where like the host, there's a couple of like town events, like an Easter egg hunt. The host is the one who gets to start the Easter egg hunt.
Okay. So one person is kind of the world owner, if you say, or administrator, and then everybody else that joins that world, the 3 other people are helpers.
It's your world. We're just living in it.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, even in that sense, like you can go off and do other things. Like I've seen playthroughs where like the host is, as I said, there's a whole friendship thing that can even be up to romance and such. And I've seen the host romance one townsperson from the village, and the person who's joining romance somebody completely different.
Okay.
So, I mean, you have a lot of options in that. Such,
are there any NPC characters, or is it just live players in this world?
It's because there's a whole town of NPCs, and they all have different likes, different loves. So, like my wife and I just got to the point where we got our. They do for Christmas. They do a Secret Santa, so you get assigned a random NPC from the town, and you have to give them a gift. And there's certain things you could give them that they're going to love and they'll like you a lot more, or there's certain things that they're going to hate and dislike you a lot more.
Like if you were to join a town of like the Sims game, like a multiplayer version of that almost, but then you can have up to 4 people playing, and you interact with other live players that you're playing with, and also the majority NPCs.
Yeah, I mean and as I said, it's a really chill game. I can't stress that enough. Like there's no time that I'm sitting here like stressed out about something with it. It's like, oh, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna go plant this. I'm gonna go crack these geodes at the town smith. I'm gonna see what I get. I'll donate to the museum, and I'll get this. So, it's a lot of fun. And my wife doesn't play a lot of video games, but this is one that she has really hooked on to the point of when we're sitting in the evenings and it's like, oh, should we go down to the basement after Calvin goes to bed? Sure. Do you want to watch something? Well, I'd rather play Stardew. Okay, we'll play Stardew. So it's
perfect. It's something that appeals to a wide variety of gamers.
Highly enjoyable. It's got one of the best soundtracks too. Like it's a really great soundtrack as well. So, but yeah, I highly recommend it. And as I said, for $13, it's worth giving it a shot and
cool,
having a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, I enjoy it. And in fact, I'm a little sad. They actually produced a board game version of Stardew, and it sold out instantly. So I'm hoping that there's a reprint because as a board game, it would also be fantastic. So I'm great crossing of hobbies. So.
Well, aside from this plane that's taken off right now into outer space, any closing thoughts for this evening there, Jacob?
Maybe one, Kidder.
What's that?
Because, I listened to the episode 12 today doing the time code.
Yes.
And there's a problem with episode 12.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did you do?
What did I do?
He's taking off his damn shirt. Look at this. It's Howard the Ref in disguise.
Too sexy.
Listen.
No, too sexy.
I got to call a penalty on you, Kidder.
On me?
Yeah.
No. 2 minutes of news.
No. Because here's the thing, Kidder. You told the same joke. Not once. Not twice. Not 3 times. Not 4 times.
Really?
I kid you not. I kept track 7 friggin' times you told the same joke.
Oh.
Everybody, like we named an episode after the fact that I am the slowest beer drinker in the West. You had to make that joke 7 times in one episode. And that doesn't even include the 2 times you did it outside of the show. That was in the pre-show and after the show. So, Kidder, that's 2 minutes in the box for roughing a dead horse, okay? 2 minutes for roughing a dead horse.
It sounds like we have ourselves a new segment. We can call that, here's your 2 minutes.
Yeah, your 2 minutes to 2 minutes
We're
of
going to
great.
browbeat somebody on the show. I agree. And that is an excellent referee uniform you have.
That's authentic.
That's
That's authentic.
He was cherishing that moment.
This is the 3rd time he's had it on this damn show.
It's the first
He
time.
keeps
It's the
bringing it
first,
up.
the first time for me.
Oh,
So you're not going to turn the tables on him and say this is the 3rd time, because this is the first time I'm seeing this show and seeing that shirt. It's something that he put in the effort, and I appreciate that effort. Because
is putting on a shirt really effort? It's an internal dilemma.
He put the shirt on.
Look at him. Did you see his wheels turning? He had to think.
No, he put the shirt on, but he concealed the shirt.
Concealed it.
And then he just ripped it off.
So,
and said, "Now's my time."
So
if we don't challenge ourselves, and then I mean, it's something that needs to be said, and I appreciate about all you guys is that if something needs to be said, it's Frank. And
who's Frank?
Where is he? He over there in the tree? What happened there?
Frank! Hey! We're able to put it the right way, and you don't have to sugarcoat it, but that was well done. They need some orange armbands on those sleeves.
I know, he's just a linesman. Look at him. He's not only a liar, he's a faker.
No.
Oh.
Linesmen make game-changing and game-saving calls, too.
What did he save about this?
He saved you from making that damn joke again.
Saved me from it. I didn't even know the
what
joke.
What joke was
what
that?
What joke was it? What am I saying?
What joke was it?
Joke
the slowest beer drinker in the West joke.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying, is that he's preventing you from saying it again because you made it 5 times and then the second 2 times. Well, he's just calling you out just to
me out.
Just tap down the slowest beer drinker in the West joke.
Hold on. I'm not tap dancing around this. Listen here, boyo.
I haven't seen the episode. You're calling me out now. We're on your stripes.
You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes for bullshit.
My side.
No, he's not on your side. He's not on anybody's side. Howard the ref walks the line. He walks alone because he's a referee and a linesman all in one.
Okay.
He's Switzerland. He's neutral. Yeah. There's a joke for you. Going back to 2001. You like that, bitch?
I'd like it if you produced a new joke. How about that?
I can tell you a new joke, but we're going to have to wait till the next episode. Well, this has been an oldie but a goodie, and it's been a good time. It's been a real time, but I don't know if it's been a real good time. So how about we?
You don't know?
You don't know? We're not on the other end of this thing. How are we going to know?
Look at him. That's Howard enjoying his good time.
So here's what we need you to do. So please help us continue this train wreck into the next episode and the next episode and the next episode from that. So you can find us on Podbean. We're also, of course, on anywhere else that you would listen to the audio podcast that you would love to listen to, just like your friends here at Beer, Blues, and BS. That's, of course, Spotify. You can listen to us on Sirius XM. You can listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pandora. How about all the rest of them? Find them at Podbean, and you can check out Beer, Blues, and BS. Plus, we are also on Facebook. Make sure you like us, if you would please, and thank you. Like us on Facebook, click the thumbs up, and tell us what you like about the show. It's all right if you tell us what you don't like about the show either. I understand. It's all good. I don't know what you're talking about.
This guy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just sitting here. No, I'm just sitting here. So so help us buy us a beer. You can buy you a beer, buy me a beer, buy Brother Niko a beer, I suppose you buy Howie Blues a beer, but
we're all in this together.
but by the next episode, he might have this beer finally finished. So please check us out. What was that, a joke that I was supposed to say or something? I don't know. It was kind of funny. So
Circling back to that dead horse. I'm following the lead here.
Waiting for Chris to find the yellow flag.
Man, this is a good one.
The red hanky or the yellow flag. Throw up the yellow card or the red card.
Pull out oh, I'm sorry I touched you. I didn't know that this was football. So
soccer. What?
Yeah. Football. We would really love for you to be part of the show as well, because we have fun doing this, and hope you have fun listening to us or watching this train wreck of an episode, and all of the others that are available on all of the various podcasts, social media, etc. If you want the weather information, visit us twitch.tv/KRDN Eyewitness Weather Now. Get the North Dakota forecast that you could ever, hopefully you want. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, that was like 6 octaves too low.
Yes.
Excuse me.
I don't know, is that trademarked? You think that's trademarked? Do I gotta pay for that?
Well, the lady might have her right.
Buy us a few extra beers so then we can have some reserve funds just in case that's trademarked. So the thing is, we want you to be part of the show as well, because you, as the viewer, watcher, listener, wherever you may be, are part of this whole shenanigans. So for Rudeboy Kyle at beerbluesbs.com, for Bob Giggles at beerbluesbs.com, for Howard at beerbluesbs.com, and for Kidder at beerbluesbs.com. Free beer tomorrow, and you know what? We will catch you on the next one right here down the road on the Triple B.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Since we're recording this and it's for the podcast, we're gonna go for a walk, because this is the first time that we're able to do this. So we're taking a quick walk over here. Avalanche game coming up here. It's gonna be a sweet game 3 of the old second round playoffs versus the Vegas Golden Showers. Over here got the misses, and then Kyle's misses right there, so of course we're good to go. Say hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies. Can't believe we're actually on
I'm glad you're good with directions. But yeah, there we are, walking along. They got some filler before the actual game starts. Wait, that's Bravo. I don't know how we ended up on Bravo, but it must be some kind of sick joke. So walking back up, and I see the other gentlemen are going in to get some more to drink. So there's that. So how's she getting on there, buddy?